Ladies and gentlemen, federal employees, so if you have $1 million in your TSP at retirement, what amount of money can that actually provide for you for the rest of your life in retirement? That's the question we're going to dissect and dive into today. Now, if you are new here, if you're a federal employee and this is the first time you've come across us here on YouTube or our podcast, whatever it may be, welcome. So good to have you. My name is Dallin Haas. I'm a financial planner who helps federal employees with things like this all day long to help you guys get the most out of your benefits and retire confident. So let's dive right in. If you have $1 million or insert however much money you have at retirement, how do we figure out how much money every month this can provide for us? Okay. Now, at the end of the day, the question we're trying to answer is, how do we turn a big lump sum of investments that we have, how do we change that into a monthly income source, right? How do we change investments into paychecks? That's the goal of what we're going to talk about today, okay? So long story short, if you look online, there's a million different ways to make an income stream out of your investments. However, a great simple approach is to use what they call the 4% rule, okay? The 4% rule. Now, if you haven't heard about the 4% rule, welcome. It's going to be a great time talking about it. If you have, we're going to dive into how this actually works in real life. So the 4% rule is basically what it is people have for years, they said, okay, how do we know how much we can actually withdraw from investments every year without worrying about running out of money? Because most of the clients that I work with, they want to hit two main goals. Number one, they want to enjoy the money that they have. They want to enjoy life and do things they want to do in retirement and use their money, but at the same time, not spend too much where they have to worry about running out at the last end of retirement. We don't want that either. The 4% rule is a rule to find the answer to not spend too much, but to be able to spend what we need to have a great retirement. So the 4% rule says this. It says in year one of retirement, you can spend 4% of what your TSP or your investment balance is. So if we take $1 million, multiply it by 4%, what do we get? We get $40,000, okay? So in year one, you'd be able to spend $40,000 based on the 4% rule, okay? Now, what happens in year two? Well, in year two, what you can do is you take out, and again, $40,000 increased by whatever inflation was previously, okay? So if inflation was 10% between year one and year two, then in year two, you'd be able to take out $44,000, which again is 10% higher than the year one withdrawal. And you'd be able to continue doing this for the rest of your retirement. So basically, $1 million using the 4% rule can provide you $40,000 increase by inflation for the rest of your life. Now, you don't have to use the 4% rule. There's nothing out there that said, hey, you've got to use the 4% rule. There's lots of different strategies. However, I really like the 4% rule for a few reasons. Number one, it's simple to understand, okay? And it's relatively conservative, okay? Now, if you're retiring at age 30, right, the 4% rule may need to be adjusted a little bit. But for the average retiree, the 4% rule is a great way to get an idea of what your money can provide for you for the rest of your life in retirement, okay? So again, whatever balance you have for your investments, whether it's $500,000, $600,000, multiply it by 4%, that's a good indicator for how much you'd be able to spend year one in retirement. And then of course, you can increase that withdrawal amount every single year with inflation after that, okay? Now, of course, if you're making these withdrawals from the traditional TSP, keep in mind this would be a gross number. You'd have to take out taxes as well, so keep that in mind. But it's, again, a great place to start. So I hope this video is helpful for you to give you an idea of how much money you can spend from your TSP every single year to make a great retirement for yourself. But have a great rest of your day. I'll see you guys next time.